Welcome back to Mind Bang, where we take the weirdest TV theories, shake them up like a cheap margarita, and see what spills out. But before we talk about how Walter White might have accidentally ended the world, I need to have a word with my mirror self. I saw him today. Again. He looked happier. More rested. Like he didn't eat an entire sleeve of Oreos at 2 a.m. last night. I swear, he's living a better life than me. Probably moisturizes. Has a Roth IRA, drinks water. Meanwhile, I'm here connecting TV universes that were never meant to touch, like some conspiracy theorist with too much red string and not enough vitamin D. But whatever. Let's talk about how Breaking Bad is the reason The Walking Dead happened. Theory number 1, blue meth started the zombie apocalypse. Let's start with the biggest, dumbest, and possibly greatest idea here. Walter White's meth didn't just ruin lives, it ruined the entire planet. Why? In The Walking Dead, early on, we see blue meth in Merle Dixon's stash. You know, Walter White's trademark product. The zombie virus? Maybe it wasn't a virus at all. Maybe it was a side effect of some bad batch of Heisenberg's recipe. Think about it. Drug epidemics spiral out of control all the time. What if Walter White's empire led to something so toxic it warped human biology itself? And before you say that's ridiculous, have you seen what that meth did to people in Breaking Bad? Like Walter White's customers already looked like extras in a zombie movie. The timeline kind of fits. The world starts falling apart just after Walter's empire collapses. Coincidence? Or did Heisenberg cook up humanity's extinction? Theory number 2. Jesse Pinkman is patient zero. Okay, stay with me here. Jesse spent years being exposed to Walter's meth up close and personal. He smoked it, he handled it, he was literally around pure chemical evil every single day. What if he was the first person to mutate? Picture this. He goes into hiding after escaping the Nazis in El Camino. He tries to start over, but the meth is already in his system. Something happens. Maybe a bad relapse, maybe a fever. And boom, he turns. And once Jesse turns, it spreads. He doesn't mean to, but he starts biting people. And let's be real, Jesse Pinkman, fresh off trauma and years of bad decisions, he's probably getting into fights with strangers. He turns one guy, who turns 5 more, and suddenly New Mexico is a no-go zone. Next thing you know, The Walking Dead starts. Theory number 3, Walter White is still out there. I know. Walter White died. We saw him bleed out in that lab. But what if he didn't? What if the cops got there, but instead of arresting him, they saw how much damage he caused and threw him into some underground lab? What if he spent years in captivity trying to find a cure for the thing his drugs created? And what if, just before the apocalypse hit, he almost figured it out? That would be the ultimate irony. Walter White, the man who lived for control, ends up watching the world collapse because of him. Maybe that's why nobody in The Walking Dead knows how it started. The government buried the truth. Literally. Theory 4, the Red Dodge Challenger crossover. This one is just fun. So in Breaking Bad, Walter White buys a red Dodge Challenger for Walt Jr. Then he returns it. The guy at the dealership? His name is Glenn. Cut to The Walking Dead, Season 1. Glenn is driving a red Dodge Challenger. Are we supposed to believe that's just a coincidence? Or did Glenn get that car from New Mexico, right before everything went to hell? Maybe he knew something was coming. Maybe he fled before it all started. And maybe that car is the last surviving relic of the world before. And now that I think about it, Glenn was weirdly good at surviving. Maybe he wasn't just a pizza boy. Maybe he had connections to the criminal underworld. Maybe he worked for Gus Fring before all this. Theory number 5. Gustavo Fring knew everything. You want to talk about someone who seemed like he was operating on a whole other level? Gus Fring. He wasn't just a drug lord. He was terrifyingly precise. He ran a multinational operation without breaking a sweat. He had the discipline of a man who knew something worse was coming. What if Gus Fring was preparing for the end of the world? What if he knew about the mutation and was building a network of safe zones? What if his entire plan wasn't just about drugs, but about control in the post-apocalypse? What if Los Pollos Hermanos was a front not just for meth, but for surviving what came next? And you know Gus would have thrived in the zombie apocalypse. He had the patience, the leadership, and the ability to kill a dude with zero hesitation. If he hadn't been blown up, he probably would have ended up running the sanctuary instead of Negan. Final thoughts. Did Breaking Bad cause the apocalypse? Look, is any of this confirmed? No. Do I care? Also no, but think about it. Walter White's product was the only one of its kind. Jesse was exposed to that product more than anyone. The world collapses right after Breaking Bad ends. Characters and props cross over between both shows. It all lines up too well. Maybe Breaking Bad wasn't just a crime story. Maybe it was the first domino in the end of the world. And Walter White? He wasn't just Heisenberg. He was patient zero. That's a wrap. What do you think? Alright, my conspiracy-loving weirdos, drop your takes. Did Walter White create the zombie apocalypse? Was Jesse the first infected? And is Gus Fring still out there, running a post-apocalyptic chicken empire? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe in this video before a mirror version of yourself with a better credit score replaces you. And remember, if a man in a hazmat suit offers you blue meth, just say no.